So I just watched episode 1 of Power Ranger Beast Morphers, and holy shit, this is probably the best first episode we've gotten in a long time. I want to say this is probably the best premiere episode we've gotten since RPM. This is the best premiere episode we've gotten since Welcome to the Jungle. This is the best premiere episode we've gotten since, like, the Lost Galaxy premiere. This first episode just blew me away with how good it was. The action, the plot, the setup. This is setting up future Freds for the season down the line. When have we done that in a Power Rangers show? When have we done that in a Power Rangers series for the longest time? Sure, I know they set up certain Freds here and there, and usually they don't go anywhere, but it looks like they are plotting arcs for their characters, and holy crap, is that awesome. Now let's talk about the opening theme song first off. The opening theme song is another remix of Go Go Power Rangers, but it doesn't try and do the same instrumental beats as the previous ones where they do that guitar riff. It sounds more techno, more pop, and that kind of suits the theme of Beast Morphers and the background music you hear during the action scenes in this show. So it does have some Go-Go Power Ranger beats, but it does have its own original lyrics, and those original lyrics are pretty good. I enjoyed them quite a fair bit, and it's not an opening that I don't like, it's an opening that I quite enjoy, and I'm not going to skip it when I'm watching this on Netflix or when I watch the episode to sit down to review it. I quite like this opening theme song. Now let's talk about our Power Rangers, starting off with the Red Ranger Devin. Now Devin seems like a carefree guy from our very first impression of him. He wants to learn the good stuff about karate, he cares about karate and video games according to his dad. He just seems like this carefree guy that just wants to have fun. And he doesn't seem like the generic Red Ranger that's destined for greatness. He's a prodigy in the making, he was destined to be a leader. Devin was there at the wrong place in the wrong time, and that's why he became a Power Ranger. So no doubt about it, in future episodes we're going to be seeing Devin, no doubt about it, learning to become a better leader, learning to become a good Red Ranger. No doubt he's going to have some mentor figures down the line, but he seems like a carefree spirit for our Red Ranger. And that's a good thing. We're not going to have some serious brooding guy. We're going to have a fun, carefree guy, kind of like Tyler, where he can be serious and he can be fun, and that's what I like to see in my Red Rangers. You don't have to be serious all the time, you can be a carefree leader and have fun at the same time. Now let's talk about Zoe. Just like Devin, she was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and that is how she became a Power Ranger. And I find it funny, like that was a fun introduction where she tried out to join Grid Battle Force and she didn't make it. She became laundry. It's sort of like, it gave me a laugh because it reminded me of in Jay and Silent Bob with Will Ferrell's character, where he signed up to be in the FBI but then he became like a wildlife guy. It kind of made me laugh in that kind of way, like you signed up to join the secret spy organization with the morphin grid and stuff like that, and then you flop out and you just become laundry there. Like, I find it funny that like she failed to be a cadet there but they still gave her a job as the laundry person. That was kind of funny, but you can see that she has heart as a character. She says she's got ideas and she wants to use them. She's very creative. She seemed like the inventive type, so I'm curious to see what story arcs she's going to get later down the line. She seems really cool. I do like her motives where she's got ideas and she wants to change the world, so we'll see where that goes. And let's talk about Ravi. Ravi. No, I'm only kidding. Ravi seems like a really cool character because if you watch the episode, he was someone who was originally meant to be a ranger, and we'll get into the other two characters later down the line when we talk about the villains. But Ravi is the serious type. You can tell that he's going to be the serious Blue Ranger, where he's like not all fun and games. He wants to get the job done. He wants to make sure the mission's complete. His mother is their commander, so he wants to prove himself to her. No doubt we're going to go through these storylines, but I like Ravi is probably going to be one of my favorite characters depending where his arc goes, because his arc where he wants to help Roxy because Roxy went into a coma because of the virus that created their avatars. So his motive will be to bring back Roxy from a coma, and they were dating at one point, but Ravi turned her down because he said Rangers can't date, because he's one of those strict follow the rule guys. So Ravi is a very interesting character. I like how he's serious. We're going to get a serious blue type ranger, and we'll just see where that goes, because it's only the first episode. We got our first impressions of him, and it's just a let's wait till next week to see what adventures they get into. Now let's talk about the villains for these episodes, because Blaze and Roxy, I like how they were created. I like how we got introduced to them before they were turned into villains. How Blaze in the real world was Devin's rival, and how they got into a small fight at the start of the episode, like they got into a small sparring match, and then you find out later down the line that Blaze was chosen to be a Red Ranger, and then he gets turned evil due to the Evox virus, and how Roxy was meant to be the original Yellow Ranger, and she was in a relationship with Ravi, and then she got turned evil, and her being in a coma is Ravi's whole motivation, is to destroy her avatar to save someone he cares about. Like, I really like that these characters are essentially human, and they're people that our rangers know. And my big speculation is, because they're still people, they're real life people, does that mean these avatars are going to like live out the normal lives of the people they took over and just be antagonizing? Or are they just going to be like, hey, where's Blaze? Oh, Blaze went on a vacation, our sensei is gone, I'm sorry. I'm your new karate teacher now, me, Devin. I'm guessing that might happen, but I wonder how that's going to go down. Is the avatars going to try and live out the normal lives of the people they took over, or will it be totally something different? Who knows? But anyways, I do like their outfits from the Go Busters suit. I like the glitching effect that they do, and I want to talk about the fight scenes that we got in this episode, because someone might have to correct me, but let's talk about the action scenes for Beast Morphers. Okay, someone in the comment section correct me if I'm wrong if you made it this far into the video. Was this fight scene in the laboratory 100% original footage made for Beast Morphers? Because I could not tell if this was made for the Sentai or not, or if this was Sentai footage, because from what I've heard, Beast Morphers has filmed a lot of original fight scene footage with the outfits on, and if this was one of those original scenes that they filmed that's not in the Sentai, holy shit, was this really well choreographed, because the fight scenes was amazing, just where they're jumping all over the place. The music, the techno music that we've got really suits the fight scene. This was just a really cool fight scene, and it got me lost in the moment, because I just loved how it went down. It was just amazing. It was a really cool fight scene, and if this was like original footage, not Sentai footage, special props to that. Now let's talk about the side characters, one of them being Devin's dad, who is the mayor of the town they live in, and he has this really interesting line when they're talking about the Morphex stuff, saying, you've turned the morphing grid energy into a substance in the real world, and we've had villains from Rita Repulsa to Sledge to Galvanax, and if they were around, or villains like them were around, they will always try to get their hands on this. And when he says that line, it really confused me, especially because he said Sledge, because he said like dimensions like Sledge, something like that. And how are villains like that known to be from other dimensions to normal people like that? I'm guessing because he's mayor, they give him the rundown about all the history that's gone down in the world, like in Angel Grove and stuff like that. Like they just give him a brief history saying, hey, if a monster attacks, don't worry, this is the brief history of monsters that have attacked the world for the past 25 years. Hopefully you'll be okay with this stuff, but it's weird that like a normal human being who is probably maybe like in his 50s or something like that, 50s or 40s, knows about Rita, knows about Sledge. It would make sense to me knows about the stuff in the dimension that he's in, like if he's in the Mighty Morphin timeline to the Jungle Fury timeline and stuff like that, you know, the main timeline that doesn't split off to Dino Charge and RPM. If he's in that timeline, that would make sense if he's been around long enough to see it. But the fact that he knows about Sledge, I don't know, just for a few red flags. Like, was that written in to be like, hey, these are our villains we've had? It just doesn't make sense, but I'm sure we'll maybe get an explanation. But I get the feeling the line was just thrown in there to be cool. Now let's talk about Nate. Nate seems like an interesting character. He's going to be the tech guy. He's going to make all the interesting gadgets for our Beast Morphers. He's going to be like, hey, are you struggling to defeat this monster? Here, have this Beast Saber with ultimate blasting power. But the thing with Nate, we know later down the line, and this is going to be spoilers. If you don't want to spoil it, I'll put a timestamp in. Click to this point in the video where I stop talking about it. But we know that Nate is going to be a Power Ranger eventually due to that leak on set. So his impact being around in the show, it's not going to be that interesting. We're just going to be waiting for him to be a Power Ranger. He's going to have some cool moments, but we know that we're just going to wait. Alright, when's the episode you're going to be a Ranger? What episode are you going to turn into a Power Ranger? We're just going to be waiting around for that, and it's just, he seems like a cool character, but when I saw him, I'm like, yeah, you can tell this character is going to be a Power Ranger eventually, especially after seeing those leaks where he was on set. Now let's talk about our comic relief characters of the series, Betty and Ben. Now these characters, they did get a laugh out of me. I really do hope they're not going to be really annoying like our last comic relief characters of the season, Victor and Monty, which I feel like I need to make a video on why Victor and Monty failed and why they weren't appealing to most fans. But Betty and Ben, they seem like they have their routine. They're going to be like these clumsy security guards, which I really do hope they don't have a joke that gets old where someone gets past security and they're like, well, I was watching, were you watching? I thought you were watching. But they do seem very interesting, and I do love Betty's introduction where it's this short Asian lady and she stands on a step ladder and she steps down, and whenever they do a reveal for a character like that who's short where they make him seem tall and then they pan to whatever's behind them and they're like on a step ladder. I know they did it in one of the X-Men's where they had Peter Dinklage where they just did this really long panning shot and then it revealed that, hey, Peter Dinklage is the villain and he's this like really short villain. Like, that was a fun reveal. I think that's how that reveal went down in the movie. I can't remember. But these characters, they do seem interesting. They're not gonna... I really hope they learn after Victor and Monty that don't turn them into a fucking fart joke, for the love of God. Don't turn them into a fart joke that's just like, haha, farts are funny. I just don't want that. I really don't want that. I'm fine if they're gonna be the clumsy security guards, just don't turn it into a running joke that gets bored after 10 episodes. But anyways, this was a great first episode of Power Ranger Beast Morphers. I loved it. The music was great, the action was great, the characters were great, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket and say this is going to be a really good series after only watching one episode, but for a first episode of Beast Morphers, they really hooked me in, and seeing the reception on Twitter, it looks like they hooked in a lot of people as well. A lot of people are praising this first episode, saying it's the best first episode we've gotten in a long time, and I'm glad to hear that. But anyways, that pretty much sums up my review of Power Ranger Beast Morphers Episode 1. What did you guys think of the episode? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Tell me what you guys thought of this premiere episode of a new season of Power Rangers. I want to hear your guys' thoughts, so let's get a discussion going. But anyway, that's going to wrap up my review. I'll see you next time. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you around. Bye.